Hi, welcome to Daily Dose of Anime Recaps. In this video, we'll be taking a look at episodes 1 through 4 of the story of Fengzhi Senla, where a young warrior and his ragtag group must navigate a mysterious and political landscape full of mystical adventure and martial arts. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be sure you don't miss the next episodes. We open on a man asking the great demon god king, Tian, why he and his infernal demon race has invaded his territory. Tian says that the humans and demons have been locked in war for centuries and asks why he would ruin their resolution. The man says that their resolution is a deception. Two other men, Star Sage Kadar and Sun Sage Red Emperor, tell Tian that they won't fall for his tricks and that he will die. The three men attack Tian but are completely ineffective against him. The first man asks the other two to buy him some time as he needs to finish this fight in one decisive strike. They move to do as he wishes, just barely managing to avoid being killed as they attack Tian. Suddenly, a gigantic glowing sword appears in the sky, summoned by the first man. Tian meets the sword with his own sword, and a flash of light explodes from where the blades clash. We see Tian's sword fly down from the sky and embed itself in the ground, as the great demon god king is defeated. Time passes, and the fiery hellscape of the battlefield is now a lush jungle. A fat man runs from bandits and trips. He insists he has no money, and they search him, finding only a stink bomb, which they throw, and it explodes. They go to kill him when the great demon god king's sword flies through the air, embedding itself in a tree. A boy walks out, complaining about being stink-bombed. The bandits threaten him, but he yawns, saying he could easily take them. They surround him, and he comically defeats them with humiliating ease. He tells the fat man to pay up, but the fat man says he truly has no money. Angered by this, he begins to shout until he realizes the fat man has green eyes, marking him as one of the snowfolk. He says the snowfolk are morally degenerate swindlers and demands to know why he is there. He sighs and writes it off as just not his lucky day, telling the fat man to leave. Guards come and slay the defeated bandits, frightening the fat man. The lead guard rides up on a horse, proclaiming that they are from the Shi family and that they have to keep these woods safe from thieves so that the Shi family is not looked down on. The guard on the horse, named Gangjin, orders the others to kill the fat man and the other man. The other man easily defeats the guards, and they tell Gangjin that he will have to fight himself, as the man is too strong. Gangjin notes that the man looks familiar and asks who he is, but he says it's none of his business and threatens to end him in one slash. Gangjin thinks back to a wanted poster of a man named 1/Lu. They fight, but Lu's sword cuts Gangjin's sword in two. He orders the other men to grab Lu, but they are scared as they have no weapons. Suddenly, the great demon god king's sword starts glowing and burns Lu's hand, and he drops it, which allows the guards to grab him. Gangjin's fist glows and he punches Lu, sending him flying. He grins at first, but starts coughing up blood. His men have to carry him away, leaving Lu and the fat man there. Lu gets up wondering why they kept calling him 1/Lu and complains that every time his body gets hit with an internal force attack, which is the name of the hand glowing attack Gangjin used, his body launches a powerful counterattack, which is very taxing on him. We then see Gangjin in the Shi family headquarters being berated by the eldest young master of the Shi family. We then cut to a girl named Xier asking a man named Scar where her brother went. As Scar struggles to lift and carry a bag of grain, Xier lifts a bag in each hand and then tosses them in the air, stacking two on one hand and one on the other, carrying them effortlessly. We see two warriors preparing to face one another. Hua Fenglu, a legendary swordsman who rarely appears, and Li, who killed Hua Fenglu's older brother. Hua Fenglu leaps through the air, sword drawn, but we see ice fill the air as he lays, defeated, in a giant icy symbol on the ground, with an ice flower next to him. An elephant trumpets in Siam City as Lu walks around, amazed by the beauty of both the city and its inhabitants. As he looks at some pineapples, the fat man finds him and begins groveling about how amazing he is. Lu, annoyed, tries to walk away, but the fat man follows him, spouting more compliments. Lu giggles as the compliments work their way through his cool exterior, but he pulls out his sword and holds it to the fat man's throat, realizing the fat man's words had actually been weaving a spell on him to get him to trust the fat man. The The fat man says he just wants to repay Lu for saving him by being his guide in the city. Lu decides that this could be beneficial to his goal of gathering information before committing a mysterious crime. The fat man addresses him as Master Lu, and Lu asks who that is, saying his name is Lancelot. The fat man introduces himself as Worldly Snow. Lancelot asks Snow about a huge mansion, and Snow explains that it is haunted, and everyone avoids it as a terrifying ghost prowls it now. They go and get something to eat. While eating, Lancelot asks Snow why everyone goes around carrying weapons. Snow explains that those people are coming from the Dongfang family wedding. A man comes in and announces that a beautiful woman has come to the city with a talent for playing the zither and needs to make money to travel. Lancelot is struck by her beauty, and as she plays, he remembers waking up in a strangely comfortable bed with another beautiful girl looking at him with concern. She introduced herself as Kang Yukao, daughter of a high-ranking official in Xixia. She explains that she was attacked by thugs and he saved her, but during the fight, he was hit in the head. He wonders if he was hit in the head, why it is his chest hurts. Later that night, they sit out together and chat. He tells her he wants to be a great swordsman who robs from the rich and gives to the poor. She tells him she believes he will be one of the strongest on the continent before leaning up against him. He laments that she likes him, as his life is going to be full of hardships, and he does not want to bring her into that. So he leaves the next day to travel the world in search of treasures. He finds Nier frozen in a crystal, holding the great demon god king's sword, and they form a group called the 40 Heroic Bandits. He believed he would never see Kang Yukao again, but she somehow is always able to find him, often sneaking up on him and startling him while he rests. She was the one who suggested he go to Siam. Back to the present, the procession, with the gifts, travels through the city and everyone marvels at the spectacle. Two men talk about how hard they will be to rob, as the Shi family is the most vicious of the 7 great families. Although rumor has it, they sold drugs to get as rich as they are, and ruined many lives over the decades. Snow tells Lancelot that he has a plan to cause chaos to better help him rob the convoy, and has him put on a mask. He then starts screaming to the whole bar that he drugged 1/Lu. Lancelot, dizzy, runs as the entire bar tries to take him down. He stumbles in front of the procession, and the head of the Dongfang family shoots fire at him, which he deflects back. Dizzy and weak, Lancelot tries to stagger away, but he's recognized by Gang Jin, who orders the men to stop him. He thinks to himself that whoever this 1/Lu is has caused him a lot of trouble, and vows to kill Snow next time he sees him for what he's done. As Lancelot is surrounded by both the Shi guards and the head of the Dongfang family, the head of the Dongfang family prepares to kill him with another fireball, but a smoke bomb bounces in the middle of their circle, gassing all of them. The head of the Dongfang family uses fire to burn off the smoke, as he's informed that the bride has been kidnapped by a man in gray clothes. Lancelot is pursued by 3 guards until he just barely manages to leap over a wall, pulling himself up and landing unconscious on the other side, on the premises of the haunted mansion. We then cut to Snow right after Lancelot had deflected the fireball. He decides that he could make good money by following him, so he prepares to toss the stink bomb. A swordsman rushes out screaming that he will save the bride and begins fighting the Dongfang guards. The drunk in the bar calls him trash, and as he fights, energy pulses fly out of the bar and take out the Dongfang guards. The drunk smiles as the girl plays the zither. Snow drops a stink bomb in the bar and steals all of the money people left on their tables, until he comes to the zither player, who has been playing this entire time unperturbed. Night falls and Lancelot wakes. He follows glowing flower petals until he comes across a woman. He asks if she is a celestial maiden, and if he is in the celestial realm, but she says they are in the Shen family's plum courtyard. Fear grips him as he remembers Snow telling him about the ghost. He falls and screams in terror at her, believing her to be the ghost. Snow waits for Lancelot at their predetermined location and wonders if he was okay. Lancelot appears and yells at him for drugging him, and then for calling him 1/Lu. Snow reminds Lancelot that he gave his word he would not be mad about whatever plan Snow came up with, and begins to spout excuses and compliments. Lancelot decides to kill him with 1/, but then he thinks better of it. Lancelot asks if Snow at least stole anything of value, and Snow says he has bad news and good news. He claps his hands and the zither player appears, much to Lancelot's delight. As Lancelot takes the beautiful zither player's hands, Snow informs him the bad news is she's actually a man. Lancelot says that's fine before the words sink in, and he begins to cry at his bad luck. The zither player thanks them for getting him out of trouble and explains that he had been staying at the hotel and was robbed in Siam. With no money to pay, the hotel owner forced him to dress like a woman and play the zither to afford the room. Snow suggests that Lancelot bring the zither player with him as it always helps to have more helpers for their ventures. Lancelot shouts at Snow, saying he's not running a shelter, and dragging a sissy along will not be of any use to them. Lancelot begins to laugh insanely as he shouts into the distance that he has one last open spot for someone to join. A voice greets him as 1/ and appears from the brush, congratulating him on spotting him, despite Lancelot having no idea he'd been hiding there. It is the drunkard from the bar. He seems to know who Lancelot is, despite Lancelot having no recollection of being friends with the man. The zither player says that his name is Yuan Wulong, and says that he will gladly follow whether Lancelot is 1/Lu or not. The drunk swordsman introduces himself as Hua Kelang, an old friend of 1/Lu. Lancelot sizes up his new team and asks Hua to demonstrate his skills. Hua says that he will let Lancelot attack him with everything he has, which Lancelot happily agrees to. Hua dodges all of Lancelot's attacks, then diverts his energy attack into the ground using his own energy, shattering the stone beneath them. They decide to head to the city for breakfast as everyone is hungry. We see a mysterious brothel owner in a bathhouse behind a curtain as she receives a report that the zither player is no longer under her control. She says to let it go, as a storm will be coming soon. As our ragtag team makes their way through the city, Hua says that they have to go back to the restaurant from the previous day, as he wants to get drunk. Lancelot protests that it's too dangerous, as he almost died there the day before, but Hua calls him a coward. Hua throws money at Lancelot and then says he will go eat upstairs. Yuan tells Lancelot that he has heard great martial artists often have eccentric personalities. Snow says if he didn't know any better, he would have thought that Hua was the famed swordsman Hua Fengzhi, whose older brother was killed by legendary swordsman Li Yu and has sworn revenge. But when he was defeated by Li Yu, he became famous throughout the world. Lancelot scoffs that he knew Hua was no big deal. But Snow says he's wrong, and if Hua Kelang is in fact Hua Fengzhi, he is the only survivor in 10 years of a duel with Li Yu. Snow draws the restaurant's attention and begins to sing, explaining that Li Yu was the firstborn prince of a small kingdom in the southern Tang dynasty. He was born with a talent for the sword and joined the White Deer Cave sect, catching the attention of Moon Sage Lu Yu. Once he had perfected his swordsmanship, he was never able to be defeated and grew arrogant. His father made a tournament to raise his son's prestige by offering up Li Yu's longtime lover as the prize for winning. Li Yu ended up kicking the prince of one of the most powerful nations off of the stage during the tournament. The day before the wedding, one of Li Yu's White Deer Cave sect masters came and got drunk with him. When he awoke, his arms had been slit and shackled, and the army of the defeated prince came and destroyed the southern Tang dynasty. The maiden whom Li Yu had been set to marry was entered into a harem. But Li Yu had not perished, and 2 years later, he had mastered the Blue Lotus sword technique and stormed the Central Kingdom palace to kill the third prince once and for all. For unknown reasons, he spared the prince and the Skybreaker Knights. The elite unit of Central Plains came to rescue the prince. After a fierce battle, all of the knights were injured, and despite being injured himself, Li Yu fought his way back out of Central Kingdom, earning himself a legendary reputation. After that fearsome battle, Central Kingdom allied itself with the 7 great families and warriors from all over the continent to attack Li Yu on a riverbank. Li Yu killed all 3,000 warriors in an earth-shattering battle. They thought he would have to recuperate for many years after the injuries he received in the battle, but instead, he broke into the capital city again. This time, no one tried to stop him. Instead of fighting again, he walked in and shook their hands. Some say it's because he was trying to protect a citizen from southern Tang. Others say it's because Central Plains had persuaded Lu Yu to get him to do it, as even Li Yu could not compete with the great master who had fought in the Great War of the 9 States. Snow concludes his story by saying that it's up to the people to decide what they feel about Li Yu's character. Everyone applauds and puts money in Snow's bowl. Lancelot asks Yuan why he doesn't tell the story while playing the zither to make even more money, but he explains that it is rare that the audience reacts so peacefully to that story. as Li Yu had many enemies who get violent when his story is told. Guards appear and slash through the bowl of money Snow is carrying. They say that the Shi family has a rule that anyone who tells the story of Li Yu is to be executed on the spot. Yuan explains to Lancelot that the head of the Shi family had his spine shattered and was paralyzed by Li Yu. Snow begins dodging sword strikes and begs Lancelot for help. Lancelot easily defeats them and sends them running, but is bitten by a snake thrown by a mysterious onlooker. The onlooker congratulates Lancelot on not immediately dying from the snake bite, and the Shi family guards run back inside, bowing and greeting the stranger as the seventh young master. Lancelot shocks him by attacking, even after being bitten, and while he dodges the first strike, the second comes straight for his head. The ninth young master, who is massive, appears and catches Lancelot's arm before throwing him straight through the bar. The ninth master is also incredibly simple-minded, and the seventh young master kills one of the guards with a snake, blaming it on Lancelot to send the ninth master into a rage. He is impervious to Lancelot's attacks and is incredibly strong as he attacks. As the ninth master lifts Lancelot by the throat, choking the life out of him, the seventh master explains that he has mastered the body-hardening art of the Shi family, and so even his blade that can cut through swords will not harm him. As Hua watches on, he is surprised by the fact that Yuan Hulong was able to silently sneak up behind him. Hua asks why he doesn't help Lancelot instead of climbing up to talk to him, but Yuan sits and begins to drink, saying he is weak and so he came to get help. Hua pulls out a sword and scoffs, saying he doesn't believe it, and that if he wants Lancelot saved, he has to save him himself. Yuan says he does not know what he is talking about, as he is timid and afraid of blood, but Hua is a legendary swordsman, so he should do it. He suggests a bet to Hua. If he wins, Hua has to save Lancelot. Hua asks why he thinks he would want to gamble, and he says that the rumor is Hua Fenglu loves gambling. Yuan says he will guess the three things on Hua's mind. If he gets them right, Hua has to help Lancelot. We see Hua backflip out of the top floor and draw his sword, prepared to save Lancelot. He shoots an energy slash out of his sword, separating the young masters from Lancelot. Yuan nods down at Hua, and the battle is about to begin.